think I can't remember the last time I felt like he was in a run of form. And he's had more than enough time to get into a run of form. Because again, the Man City game, when was that? That was like October or something like that. It was a long time ago. It was one of our first like 4 games, so, and we're well into the season now. So I think with Saka,
You're even calling Saka greedy for not squaring it to Gyökeres, bearing in mind he scored Brentford.
yeah,
I'm sorry, but this crosses into Agendaville for me.
yeah, to
Like,
me, it's
if you
not
don't
even
score, draw
about
him out.
that.
But he bagged.
Yeah, for me, it's not really about him not squaring it to Gyökeres. It's just, I just feel like I'm not seeing the best version of Saka, and I'm not understanding what's keeping him from getting there yet, because he's had time. He hasn't been injured for a while now. So I'm not quite sure what it is. I just have to hope that in the second half of the season, I really do think we have to get 1, if not 2 of our attackers really on it, to really get going. And he's not really on it yet. So he had a poor performance against Chelsea. I'm not going to lie. That wasn't great, but we know he has every ability to turn it around. So he still has credit in the bank for me, but the standards are what they are. He's our best player. So it needs to look like it on a regular basis, I feel.
And I think you're right, because the attackers, like, obviously, I think Odegaard's feeling his way back in. Hindsight's a wonderful thing, but I think Odegaard is more of a minutes thing. I think Wolves would have been the perfect time to do the Eze out wide for Odegaard. I think prior to that, you're probably better off, because there's so many moving parts. Just keeping Eze where he is. He's not doing fireworks, but he's in a good bit of form. Odegaard kind of comes on and mix and blend, and then we kind of take it from there. With Saka, he's down by his high standards. With Gyökeres, I did say in the summer, it'd be a miracle for him to get 20 league goals. We all know about, and you referred to it, the striker role and the false 9. I think he'd be lucky to get 15. I don't think he'd get 10, purely because I just think you're a spare part now. I think it's you, Kai Havertz, Marino, whoever's doing the business at the time, probably more likely to be Kai to start. That's where we're kind of going from it. I just think you're a tool. I think you're a tool to try and unblock low blocks. And the one thing I would say that annoys me about Arsenal with Gyökeres is it feels like when he comes off the pitch, we start creating more chances for a traditional striker. So I don't know if they rate him. I don't know if there's still a bit of to-ing and from in that. I think everyone can see Gyökeres is never going to be the greatest technically. But no one can convince me that he has not got the capacity to bag. And I think the general theme is what I'll say, Jess, is what you said earlier, is that whether you're Gyökeres, Noni, Saka, whatever, Eze even, Odegaard, I know some people haven't been fit and some people are adapting. All of you attackers need to pull your fingers out. Every player full stop.
100%.
Because the same way our defenders have been saving us, now we need them out of jail. We've seen 7 different centre-half partnerships. 7. Regardless, we've seen 7. And even going back to the injury thing, since 2023-24, we've had 93 injuries.
Yeah. And I mean, that's a deeper issue that I feel like needs to be addressed, because we should not be getting this amount of injuries. It's actually insane. It's a nasty cycle. One of the worst cycles that we have is the one between Timber and Ben White. It's dark. Like, Ben White has to play the whole season because Timber tears his ACL. Then Ben White is playing on a bum knee for an entire season. Then Timber comes back, then he has to play an entire season.
Gapier's got a great knock as well, playing on it.
Yeah, I'm like, what is going on? So that's obviously a problem. But yeah, I'm really looking at the attackers as like, are you going to take the bull by the horn and make sure we don't lose games when we concede? Because at this point, for like the last 2, maybe even 3 seasons, the defense has allowed you guys to be able to score 1 goal.
And just keep it moving. Even like against Chelsea, if Timber or Gyökeres bag, we get out of there. And for some fans, it would paper over cracks, but you obviously get 3 points and you keep it moving. So it goes back to what you're saying.
100%. And the amount of we're like, okay, Gabriel is one of our biggest, big game players, score big goals. Or we're talking about Trossard or even maybe Marino. I'm looking at names like Odegaard, Saka, Eze, Gyökeres to be names that start to kind of push to the forefront. And that's why yesterday I think was kind of like a positive thing for individually for players like Martinelli and Madueke, because they pretty much created something out of nothing. Those are not goals.
Season contender for Noni.
Exactly. We don't score those types of goals. They were surprising because they weren't patterns of play, corners, or close tap-ins. They were moments of magic where guys just backed themselves and said, fuck it, I'm just going to shoot. We need more of that.
Do
We're
you
gonna
think
need a
Noni's
lot
delivered? Do you
more.
think Noni's like finally arrived now? Like, do you think he's a better option than Saka? Do you think Saka should be dropped ahead of him? That's what a lot of people are saying on socials.
Well, he was when he got injured against Man City, he was in a good vein of form. He just
Mm.
had not gotten the GA, but he looks to have just kind of like picked up where he left off. He has 3 goals in the Champions League. He's looking good. He's taking on his man. He's positive. So I do think we're really precious about certain players. I can be really precious. You guys know I'm really precious about Odegaard. But right now, whoever's playing the best and is going to give us the best chance of winning games, I think needs to be playing. And if Saka's not playing at his best, then why would we bench somebody that's in form? Because if you have 3 goals in your last 3 Champions League games, are you not in form?
Two
So I
even.
don't know. Huh?
Two even, I swear. And do you know what? Yeah, obviously the goal he scored was great. Obviously for the strike, obviously because somebody tried to barge him. He's kind of done up 3 players, and I've made what you was alluding to. I like it. I think when Noni signed for us, obviously there was a lot of heat. Since he signed for us, I guess the fans all around the world, the manager, the players, the fans at the ground, he's looked like a confident boy in it. But like you said, he ain't got the GA. And if you look at him at
Yeah.
Chelsea, he does arrive into the boxes. So I'm not going to say that his first goal wasn't the most amazing one for me, if that makes sense. But when I look at his Bayern Munich finish, and obviously his second goal yesterday, he could have had it actually, but his second goal, that's your bread and butter. Like, you're not any prolific goal scorer, even Trossard, who's probably our most prolific. You're not like, if you score 10, 15, 20 goals, it's not all going to be bangers and screamers. Like, it's them simple kind of tapping. So keep going on the end. To be fair, you know what, Arteta, I know you're a long way removed from your Manchester City days, yeah. And we've spoken before. I always describe Eze as a Swiss Army knife, but I'm focusing this actually on Eze and Madueke. Everyone knows what you did with Raheem Sterling and Sane at City. I need a bit of that now. I need that because maybe you've seen that already. Like, he is arriving late into the box. I wouldn't drop Saka, sorry, for Madueke at the moment. I've got no problems if he's rotated in for Wolves. Everton away, I'm going with Saka. Crystal Palace in
Yeah,
the
I
cup
would
final,
too.
I'm going
I
with
would
him.
too. Yeah. I
Saka's probably
mean,
starting the next 7 games for me. I'm not gonna cap if he's fit.
I would definitely go with Madueke for Wolves and give Saka just a little bit of rest, because even when he came in against Bruges, I was looking at him really closely, and I was like, he's kind of limping. He's
I
looking
can't
a
lie, I
little
didn't need to come on
frank.
yesterday, man.
Yeah, so it is what it is. But ultimately, I feel like Arteta's biggest test right now is figuring out how to put out strong enough lineups and get points on the board, with players needing to come back and get minutes, players needing to rest. That's so hard. Multiple competitions. It's a lot. So when I don't think Arteta's done much wrong this season. I think he's had some maybe bad moments, but I think he's done well enough in a situation where, like, he's been up against it, up against the ropes at points, like, where it's just like, what is going on? So yeah, but Madueke is doing well right now. And this is coming from somebody, I know I've seen people in the comment section like, where is the apologies? Listen.
No, but you shouldn't have to apologize because you
Yeah,
said, and we had the same thoughts. Simply don't understand the signing of Madueke.
I
Don't
didn't.
understand that he's not that
I
there's been
didn't.
others, but we understand the fact that he's Chelsea. There's a bit of obviously potential. But one thing I definitely said he's not as bad as people are making out. Is it
Yeah.
frustrating? Yeah, there's therefore something there. It was more Arteta likes these unfinished articles, and again, I can speak for just as well. And the majority of people in this world, whether you think Madueke was a great signing or fucking shit, most normal people are not signing those petitions and doing all of that nonsense. Like, and it's not going
Yeah.
to change anything. So we're happy for Noni. Whether this is a marker,
Same.
it's another thing. Like, if you're a squad player, show us that you are doing your thing, but we need more from everyone and our whole collective attackers, which I can't lie, I have to put at the feet of Arteta because before we talk about Madueke, Eze, Gyökeres, whoever the hell walked in, that has been one criticism. We don't, as much as we've scored 90 to 100 goals, we've been critical of how we're going to attack, how we're going to find new ways. And to be honest with you, from Newcastle to Sunderland, we kind of found a way about that. It does feel like we're going back to handbrake up. I felt that with Chelsea. I'm not saying it's wrong, Arteta, but I feel sometimes you just have to go for it. And I feel sometimes Arteta doesn't change enough. He's like, he'll always try and keep the same system.
Yeah, no, for sure. It's just,
Sometimes you got to pivot, man.
yeah. And we just need to, I think honestly, in the title race, because I'm like, this is just so like, you guys, it doesn't have anything to do with him getting engaged. You guys are so weird. Shout out to them, by the way. But yeah,
Big
I
up
just,
them, man. We love to see it, Sax.
but yeah, I think that, you know, I think we're going to need at least one big away win or something, to push us over the edge. I really do. And
You don't
we
think
haven't,
Newcastle we already had that?
no,
We
I
beat
don't think,
United as well.
I don't think it's not going to be one of them. It's going to have to, we're going to have to take a bigger scalp, I feel. Anybody that's in form, I feel like we haven't done well. Chelsea were in really good form right before we played them. We couldn't beat them. Aston Villa, most informed team next to us, couldn't beat them. Liverpool were in form, couldn't beat them. We're going to have to beat one of these teams and push us over the edge. Like,
Pardon me. I hear that.
yeah, I know, like, law of averages and all that kind of stuff. Like, if you do this the same, no, I think there's moments in a title race where you just have to kind of force it. We're not a forcing it type of team. So they're gonna have to pull. They're gonna have to do it. They're gonna have to, they're gonna have to
But you
push
make
a
it
little
this.
bit
Eze
more.
needs to be dropped. He's living off that hattie. He's been a passenger.
Well, he was dropped. He was hooked, and then he was dropped for the Bruges game. I think he played a lot of minutes, and he did look leggy. But also, like, the weird thing about this team is that they kind of pick and choose when they want to have good performances. Like, they were tired after I thought they were tired after Sunderland. Had the little break in international break, turned around and had great performances against Spurs and Bayern, and then looked like shit against Chelsea. So I don't really know what's going on with them, but I do think Eze just needs like maybe a game or two, like, to sit down. But Eze was, to me, at fault for the Aston Villa goal. That first one, I solely blamed it on him. I thought that was it.
Nah, you can't solely blame that on him.
Yeah, I can, because he
You
fell asleep at
how
the back
how
post.
how?
You know why? Because
He's
I
not
feel
followed
like
his runner. He's come over from the right hand side. We've not followed our runner. There's several errors. Eze should be following his runner, but solely,
no,
I
but
disagree with the word
Cross
solely.
Cross come into the box, but if he, like, what are we supposed to do? Like, you can't stop every single cross. And to be honest, if that was Zinchenko, you guys would have no
I
qualms
still wouldn't
about
just blame
blaming
him. And
him.
then what's our centre half doing? They're playing people on side. But again, as much as I can
You need
criticize
to
them,
follow your
we've
runner.
got ourselves into this mess, because of the injuries and whatnot. And I must admit, Arteta, hindsight's a wonderful thing, and it's unfortunate that it's another game against Villa. Jess, you've probably seen it on your platform. The minute we lose to Emre, people start doing all that foolishness. As dumb as this is going to sound, yeah, and hindsight's a wonderful thing. Even though I did say it going into it, I didn't think Villa was the game to complicate things. And you're right, he should have tracked his runner. I'm not absolving him for any of that. I don't think it was a football game. I don't think it was a chess match. This is a typical English 12:30. Who kind of wants it more? And I actually felt sorry for our boys, because in many ways we did okay. It's just we look spent, man. Like that's why I say the Villa game is just one where the gaffer, the players, everybody just has to hold. We look spent, like, and the,
Well,
the, the
the
thing that made it more frustrating is I've never seen so much analysis on us being disappointed for conceding the second goal. But
yeah, well, we get micro analyzed. Like, we could, I'm not to be gross, but like, we can't do anything. It's like we do anything and we get criticized for it. We could wipe our ass after we take a shit, and they'd be like, yeah, but yeah, do you really need to be wiping your ass right now? Like, yeah, like, come on. Like, I don't give a fuck about that. I honestly didn't really care about that at all. I wasn't
you
thinking
do
about
your head
that.
in listening to that, man.
Yeah, the one thing that I can say for sure that I feel like in the Chelsea game and in the Villa game in particular that stood out to me was
I
there was
blame
about,
Arteta for Chelsea. I'm just going to throw that out there, but go on.
well, okay, so there's a 5 to 10 minute period in both of those games after we scored where we had multiple opportunities right after that to score the second goal.
100.
Those teams scored first. We equalized. 5 to 10 minutes, we had them on the ropes.
Football's decided in both ends. We haven't defended
Yeah.
or done what we
If
needed to
you
do well
do
enough.
that, you come away probably against Chelsea with the win. You come at least away from Villa with a draw. But because we don't score the second goal, we don't put foot on neck. We don't do those things. So
Belt to
it's
us.
Yeah, we don't do it. And so then we end up, the game gets harder from there. The game gets so much harder from there when you're, holding on to a 1-1 instead of having a 2-1. Because City, like Chelsea, are demoralized after that.
Bayern and Chelsea, off the top of my head, and Newcastle, the only times I've kind of seen the opposite of what you're talking about.
Yeah, like,
but that's why I think it's the gap.
I'll
be real. I think obviously the players take responsibility. The Arteta is not on the pitch, but there's some games I feel are both the manager and the players. There's some that I feel solely on the players, and there's some that I feel solely on the manager. First half against City at the Emirates, that's on you. Second half against Liverpool, that's on you, Gaffer. Aston Villa's, both of them. The players obviously fucked up here, but Chelsea is on the manager, because I genuinely feel, and I'm not saying it's necessarily wrong, but you haven't had, there's minutes in the legs. You ain't got your first choice defenders. Chelsea's form, I actually think, away from Arsenal, Chelsea, Maresca and Arteta, they're from that Pep Guardiola school of thought, and they're friends. So I think he's mind games in himself and overthinking on top of that. I genuinely feel, watching the game again, he went into it very conservative. The way the game went out, where Chelsea, what's it, like a house on fire, that made him double down even more. 10 men. He doubled down when we went 10 men. I thought, oh, we're in trouble here, Gaffer. Now, granted, we could have went gun-ho and lost, and I'd be a hypocrite. I'd ask questions, but I just feel, from the Newcastle game to Sunderland, leading up to the Chelsea game, the Arteta that I've seen in that period, you would have smelt blood and went for it. I think you were shook. And again, we got drawn. We could have nicked it at the end. I guess it could be better. It could be worse, but I have to call it as I see it.
I'd rather, actually, now that I'm actually deeping it further, like, the Sunderland was the exact same thing as well.
15 minutes.
Trossard scored, and we had so many chances after that to put that game to bed. It's 3-1. It's done. You don't get the opportunity really for 2-2. And so I don't know. Were we so tired at Sunderland? Were we so tired at Chelsea? So tired at Aston Villa? Or was our mentality shook away from home, and we don't have a killer instinct when we don't ride the wave? I
think it's the latter. I don't think it's a mentality thing. I think it's the latter of what you said.
Yeah.
Either way, it's not enough, innit?
It's not. It's not enough, because if you win one of those games, we're thinking so differently right now. I don't think if you're going to go up in a title race against City for real, which we are right now.
I don't look at the table, but I'll take your word for it.
Yeah. I think that you're not going to get a big gap, but you need something. Like, you need a little cushion. We just needed to win one of those games, and I'm really disappointed that we didn't win not a single one of those games. And all of them, to me, were very similar. Poor first halves. All three of those games, poor first halves. Get ourselves back into it.
So Villa, Chelsea, and what's the last one?
Sunderland, Chelsea, and Aston Villa. Concede a soft early goal, kind of, like something uncharacteristic for us. Have a poor first half. Get ourselves back into it. Have a moment of dominance, 5 to 10 minutes, where we could put the game away, or at least secure the additional goal to make sure that we don't drop all 3 points. And we concede, except for the Chelsea game, late goal. We concede late goal against Sunderland and Aston Villa. That.
All right, let me flip it then, Jess. Yeah, and I know some Arsenal fans kind of do this thing, yeah, but one loss in 18, 19 games. If you were handed this in August and this platform, we probably would have taken it. So are we doing too much? All things considered, injuries, schedule, in different form, players needing to bed in, the fact that, you know what, and you have to be healthy. Players and the gaffer can make mistakes. All of that considered, are we doing too much? I know we're not doing too much, because doing too much gets you the league, but are we doing too much?
I think it's too much for me is not analyzing it and saying that we need to do better, because I ultimately still feel like we're in a really good position, a position that I definitely would have taken. But you can't unknow what you know. It's like things change throughout the season, right? Like the Chelsea game is like the perfect example of that point.
But we should have moved to them, man.
Yeah,
the last 3 years at the Bridge, and I say this to you all the time, like the last 3 games at the Bridge, now the last 3, I want a performance at Stamford Bridge. I don't know what it is, but we keep fucking about at Stamford Bridge. If
you show the 11 that we went out there with, we didn't have our 2 center backs in that game, that we were away from home at Chelsea. We know what our record is there. A 1-1 draw, you would have taken it before you saw anything, or not really taken it, but you could have like stomached that. But because of the context of what we saw, and the 10 men early, you really then it starts to change
And
things.
we
And I feel
needed
like,
a man sent off, really. If we're
yeah,
keeping it trill, that was the best
you-
thing about the first half. We're like, hey, like the
yeah,
man can wake up now. Maybe it's one of them. Because I know when it's us with 10 men, we're just under pressure. We're surviving. We make it happen. I never
yeah,
saw none of that. That's why I think it's on the gaffer, because obviously the players got to take responsibility. But I think Arteta genuinely was on this. If you can't win, don't lose. I'll take a point at the bridge based on what we've done already. Let's just keep it moving. We might not win a battle. We're trying to win a war type of thing. And I know it's frustrating because losing and drawing feels unfamiliar as Arsenal fans. We all saw, what was it, in the summer, the North London derby or the fallout to losing that. So I can't be surprised when we're stumbling, fans are crashing out.
oh
But
yeah,
there's a lot of
but
football to be played, man. But this is
yeah,
why I say to you, Jess, before I look at City, not to say we're the biggest and baddest, I feel we are our own best friends and we are our own worst enemies. And it
yeah.
needs to end in silverware, man.
Yeah, 100%. And like, that's why I'm saying, like, people doing too much. I think crashing out and saying it's over and all that kind of stuff, that's way too much. We're still very much so like in a good position, but you can't help but look at the context around how this has gone and not see the missed opportunities to put ourselves in a better
Isolated
position.
to the 90 minutes as well,
Yeah,
because in the games
that's
we
it.
fucked up in.
100%. So, yeah, like we're still in a really good position and I still feel like we should be winning. But I also think there's also understanding that we're not, no offense to these leagues, but we're not playing in the Bundesliga, right? We're playing in the type of league where in the second half of the season will be everybody's cup final and everybody will bend over for
Well,
City.
already everyone's fucking got fine. Look at the way Chelsea are carrying on with themselves.
Yeah, I'm like we have to remember that in the second half of the season, nobody's going to play hard against City and everybody's going to play hard against
Yeah, they're
us.
gonna
That's
roll
just
over for them, man.
exactly. And we're going up against a team that has in multiple seasons been damn near perfect in the second half. So that context will make you feel resentful for the missed opportunities, despite the fact that we're in a very good position. I feel like
Facts.
it's okay to be disappointed. That's all.
But that's the thing, Jess. Like, people can't be like disappointed about Sunderland, about Chelsea, about wherever we've effed up, but also give the players credit for everything else considered. It's either
Mhm.
white or black, and I think you're allowed to be frustrated. Me, I understand the fixture pile up, the injuries, the
Yep.
fatigue, all the. Sometimes it's just not your day. Mistakes happen. You throw all of those things in, the knock-on effect, the relationships being killed. You know, we and you have spent a good part of this video talking about the attackers. We all know about our defense. If we put that all in a bag, I'm here for that. But if you part that onto one side and then you show me what I believe I saw against Sunderland, against Chelsea, against Aston Villa, heavy on Aston Villa, do I think there was enough out there to win the game or give a better account of ourselves? 1,000,000%. I think you're
Yep.
a liar if you don't agree. I think you're doing the cop-out thing. Oh, but you would like, it's just only one loss in 19 games. Yes, it is. It's one loss in 18, 19 games, but it's like 5 points dropped in the last 7 or 7 points dropped in the last 5 or some BS like that. Main thing is it's a mixed bag. What are we going to do with this? It's just
Yeah,
me.
100%. I think Burmese absolutely correct saying we need another January to May season like 2024. And that's why I
We
am
need time
like,
for that though.
yeah, I'm adamant about us needing a lead. We need to maintain a lead before we get to January. And then January to May is going to have to be like 23, 24. Can we do it? I don't know. But that's how we're going to have to be just like that. That's what it's going to take.
For me, I'm not
City
even
won't
on the
win
lead
like
thing. I
10
think it's going to
games.
fluctuate. I think City might even lap us at some point. I just need to see
We need a lead
that consistency.
because
Yeah,
we're
but
not
we,
good
we, we've
chasers.
been the chasers. We've led for 200 days and ended up short. Do we really need a lead? Or
I'd
do we
rather
just need to be in this fight? I'd rather
I'd
a lead,
rather us
million.
be in the lead than because when the last time we were in the lead, to me, the context around that was we have never been in a title race before. We basically just capitulated at the very end. We've never done it before.
Hope so,
But when we
Ole.
were chasing them, I felt like there was always like a they're in front of us. If we're chasing City, they're not going to drop points. And when they drop points, if they do, we're not going to capitalize. I need us to
Second
be
half of
ahead.
the season, folks, when they get into that. But then, just do you think this is the same City? Because
It
many
doesn't
people don't.
I don't think it's not a treble winning city, but it could be a league winning city. They don't have
They got a
to.
couple more L's in there, surely. So do
They
we.
do, but do they have less L's? Do they have more L's than we do? Because right
Yeah,
now,
yeah.
I don't, they're
If we keep players fit, 1,000,000%, million
yeah,
percent, we're gonna give them their L at the Etihad. God, please, I'm talking
we
God,
have
please.
to. That's probably gonna be one of the kind of like deciding games, you know. And like I
Have they
said,
still got to go to Anfield?
no,
Liverpool bend over
no,
backwards
yes,
for them
they
anyways.
do because they beat them at the Etihad, right? But Liverpool ain't shit.
Yeah,
They
they'll bend
ain't,
over backwards for them, and
yeah, talking
what they
about
call
some
it,
City
City Pool or
pool.
whatever it is.
The only team that I know of that I feel like will actually play City because they always think that they're amazing is United. They're the only team. They may get bent over, but one thing I know for sure is they're never gonna be like, oh well, fuck it, you know, City. We'd rather no. That
The
team always
London-based
thinks that they're
United
gonna
fans
win.
rather City win it. The real tugs from Manny would rather us do it. But
Yeah,
fuck all of that. We just need to take advantage and do what we need to do. What do you make of this question? Thoughts on the midfield? It's a little concerning without Rice. Not gonna lie, too easy to bypass. Not strong enough physically. I've got nothing to say, Jess. I've been saying I want 2 more midfielders. Everyone called me crazy. That's it.
yeah. I think that you know the thing with the midfield is that without Rice, we look lightweight, but I also don't think we use what we have to our advantage. You know, it's like if you have a physical midfield, the contrast to that is being more technical. But it's like we don't use our technical,
So
we
then
don't
Zubi,
have
Odegaard, Eze. If Rice ain't
yeah,
there, we
we
have to
don't
pass
bop
someone
it
else.
around. We don't try to pass around them. We don't use our technicality. It's like we try to play the same way. And if you have the Marinos or whoever trying to do the, you know, Rice winning the ball back, you just see Marino like, but he's like way behind, you know? So
You need Kai. Kai's a better option to do that kind of stuff than
yeah,
Marino.
that's kind of my problem with it is if you're going up against a more technical midfield, then maybe you want to be a little bit more physical to just take them out the game, kind of like what Newcastle has done to us in the past. But we just stay the same. You know, so if you don't have Declan, go more technical, but we don't. We try to have Marino do his role and it doesn't work and then we get bypassed. So I think that's more of a
Or
coaching
use
problem.
Norgard a bit more. But you
Yeah,
do have options. Whether they're good or not is another thing. But you do
yeah.
have options.
I feel like that's more of like a coaching problem than anything, you know.
Speaking of coaching problems, what do you make of this question from Charles? If Gyökeres is failing, it is Odegaard and or Eze's problem, no one else. And also Saka to a certain extent. He seems to be used only as a space creator for others by pulling people out. I disagree. I think
Yeah.
Gyökeres at some point, yeah, while I agree with that, at some point you've got to just let your nuts hang in it. You've got to do that. And then I guess that filters into Mikel Arteta. And then I think that's also harsh. I can't really talk for Saka. But when Odegaard has played, injuries, permitting, he's tried to
He
find
was putting
Gyökeres.
the
Are
ball
they the
on the
same?
plate for Gyökeres in that Olympiacos game.
Yeah,
He
they've tried to feed Donny.
yeah, they tried to feed him. Like, obviously, it hasn't happened a lot in the they've both been back for 5 minutes. I wanna put that into remember, like, they've been back for 5 minutes, but when they were both playing together for, like, that 3-game period, Odegaard put the ball on a platter for Gyökeres multiple times in
Exactly.
space. There was also a game where we played against was it not Portsmouth or somebody like that, where Max Dowman put the ball into space for Gyökeres, and he couldn't get space in
Was
between
it Port
him
Vale? Who did we play
and
in
a
the cup?
League Two teams,
Yeah, it was
Port
Port
Vale.
Vale. Yeah.
So I'm not trying to hear all that. Like, yes, we don't. He there's also been instances where he hasn't done good enough. So I just think we don't know how to like he doesn't know how to play with us and they don't know how to play with him. And
Mm.
ultimately that's less of a I don't think it's as big of a problem as people are making out to seem. I think we have enough options where if he's not working out, we can drop him and it is what it is. But for some people, it's really important. It's not to me. I
Listen, I want Gyökeres to be the bad boy striker and everything like that, but if we kind of knew this was a reality in it, like I'm at the point I just accept Kai, Gyökeres, Marino, Jesus, if fit. They're just
yeah.
gonna you lot are the options in it. Like you lot are the guys. Whoever takes their chances, whatever. Let's just win some trophies. I think this is a question for Jess and DG. Who you starting on the left? I'm gonna kind of add to that question and say everybody's fit. Who's your left winger then?
Everybody's fit. Trossard is the fucking starter right now. He's the best.
Yeah,
He's been the best this season. Um, I think that probably says more about the other players than anything else, that they've just lacked something. Um, I think we're learning that Madueke needs to play on the right, so I think I wanna take him out
100%.
of those conversations, but when it comes to, like, Eze, Trossard, Martinelli, right now, I'm choosing Trossard, but I think there's still scope for, like, Eze to do well in that position. He just hasn't played in a minute, you know, so I don't wanna be too harsh on him. Jesus can
Mm,
play there as well, but I
mm.
actually
Could he
prefer him.
thrive there?
I prefer him in the 9.
You don't want to see him and Gyökeres link up with Saka.
Not really. If anything, if I was to
Jinky for
choose
jinky.
if I was to choose a front line right now and I was like, what's the vibe I want to go for? If I want to go for the most vibe, I'd probably go Jesus, Eze on the left, and probably Madueke on the right. So
I was with you until I heard that. That's it. I think you said Madueke. That must be how Americans say Saka. But
I
you got
love Saka, but Saka's not going to give the most vibes, like, but
no man. Saka's on vibes, man. I'm sorry,
Saka's
Madueke is
all
great,
vibe.
but
Let's be serious. Saka's better than Madueke, but if I'm
we
just
see Saka nutmeg, man.
if I want to enjoy what I'm watching, I said what I said.
I hear it, but I'm a big fan of the way Saka rolls his man, wins a foul. Maybe
No,
I'm a
that's
bit
fair.
biased.
That's fair. That's fair.
Slightly, if we're talking
That's
vibes,
fair.
we'd need Max Dowman to be fit and probably him off the right, in it really. Talk to
Yeah,
me
I
about
mean,
Jesus though, man. Can
yeah,
I interest you in buying some stocks? Are you here for this? Like, we're finally
yeah,
here, Jess. I told you we'd be here, innit? And we've had
yeah.
a simple conversation, but
It's only a year
my boy's
later.
back. Is he better than Gyökeres? Because many fans are agreeing with it.
Well, no, the last time that we spoke, I said that our best striker is still Jesus.
Which is the problem? It's probably
And
Kai,
and
to be fair,
like
which
from
is
a
your
talent
problem.
perspective, there is no doubt in my mind that the most talented 9 that we have is Jesus, even if he only scores 10 goals. He makes everyone better. He creates football. He's actually fun to watch. He does all that, like, instantly. It's like everyone knows how to play with him. Instantly. You saw it yesterday. Instantly, everybody knows how to play with him. Is he
Do you
going
think
to
they
do what
rate
he
him more
did?
than Gyökeres?
Yeah, the way that they're jumping up in front of him, the way they're jumping up in front of him, Timber jumping up in front of him, trying to take yeah, I think so. But listen, with Jesus, it's all about how long are we going to have him for? I don't want to
Those
get
5 games
all
are going to be
invested.
special, man.
Yeah. So, but while he's fit, I think he has a bigger role to play than maybe people think because Gyökeres is not really, you know, and Kai is
Now,
not
coupled
fit.
with that, look at the amount of games. Like, people love. This is one thing that pees me off about football fans, Jess. Yeah, like especially Arsenal fans. They say, "Oh, we want to compete for 4 trophies."
Mhm.
You've got this is your squad. Whether you like the players or not, you have to lean on all of these, or we have to demand Arteta does.
Yeah, I think we need to. Every single player is important to this team, whether you like it or not. And they're all going to
Exactly.
play some role. This is an incredibly long season. We're meant to be going in multiple
Love for the
competitions.
super chat team.
Yeah,
But go on,
and
Jess.
every single player is talented. I really think that we get too stuck in player FC and we try to diminish players. Ultimately, it's about what's best on the day. Some days.
Collective comes first. Everything else is secondary.
Absolutely. So, yeah, but Jesus for me is somebody that can give us something, and I think he makes our wingers better and we play a little bit different and more fluid with him in there. So, he's going to get used. Arteta loves Jesus, by the way. He may not be everybody's favorite, but Arteta loves him. So, he's going to play.
I keep telling man, it's a World Cup year. Don't sleep on the Brazilians. There's no surprise. He's doing his thing. Like, just stay fit, win us some shit, go to the World Cup. And I don't want to get onto him, but fair, like Berta's got something for you in it. Like, it's been nice having you at this football club. It's mad though, because we're talking about which one's the better striker. Some people would ask Kai Havertz, some might say Marino, some might say Jesus, as you said. They're all good players and they've all gone through patches, but neither are quite as clinical as we need them to be. And obviously, you throw in the Gyökeres conundrum. Arteta, I need you
Mhm.
to solve that, because striker has been something. If we can marry what you do tactically with the defense, with the midfield when it's all on song, and somehow that number 9 is consistent, what the conversations and streams we're doing and what we're doing in May 2026 is unheard of. We ain't seen it for about 20 odd years. What you saying for Martinelli as well, man? You wanted my guy so just,
Yeah,
man.
listen,
The big
I'm
nights, The big
he's
nights.
He's
Belgium and that.
he's done well in the Champions League as an impact. I'll say that for sure.
Has he changed your mind? Can he be a squad player now? Is that his thing?